So if you're wanting to create more spin with your wedges, then you need to stay tuned. I've got a brand new wedge here that is very aggressive on the spin. New product that's coming to be launched January 2019, and I'm going to review this, test it, and give you guys some feedback, both in the studio and from the golf course. So just before we jump into the video, if you're new to my channel and you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. Hit the logo in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, MNG. Also ring that bell to get future notifications. Any videos that land on my channel will be one of the very first ones to watch it. Also, if you want, hook up onto my social media, so Twitter at MNGolfCoach, and also Instagram, same handle, at MNGolfCoach. Okay, so I've been approached by a couple of guys here who've designed a wedge. And one of those gentlemen is a guy called Stuart Smith, and his background is very much in the R&D with TaylorMade, going back a number of years. Many of you maybe remember when the original burner came out with the bubble shaft. Well, Stuart was very much involved with that in the R&D department, obviously building and designing golf clubs. So that's his background, but he's also, and this is incredible here, he's also been the coach for Seve. Okay, obviously very famous Severiano Ballesteros. He's been his coach. And obviously we know all about Seve's short game. So a lot of Stuart's experience and history through club design, building, and also working with the greats of like Seve and many of the tour guys out there. He's come up with a concept of a wedge, and this has been on the obviously design table for quite a number of years, and is going to shortly come to market in January 2019. So I'm really excited to test it, and big thanks to Stuart and also his partner Craig for sending me through these samples for me to test. This is one of the very first testers on YouTube here, so I'm really excited to do this. So we're going to jump in, we're going to give you a little bit of lowdown on the technology of the club and also then into that performance. Okay, so the name of these wedges is called SmithWorks, so after Stuart Smith, who obviously has designed the wedges, he's put his name to it, so it's called SmithWorks. Available in a satin finish and also a black finish, and to be honest, there's a lot of talking points about this, so I'm going to rattle through these pretty quick here. So technology in the club head, there's a lot of movable weight, as in taken out of the neck of the golf club here, so weight saved in the hosel of the golf club, also taken out with these holes in the back of the head, so that's saving weight and then being repositioned higher up the club face. So one of the big talking points and technologies about this is the vertical balance, face balance of this golf club. So basically CG of the head is being moved more higher up the club face here to try and create strikes that are slightly lower the CG, which makes the ball come out a little bit lower and obviously packed with more spin. We then look at the sole of the club, and we've got some milling on the sole with some very much heel and toe relief for those obviously those different lies you're going to get experience when you're out on that golf course, and when you want to sort of opening this blade up and getting all those different sort of scenarios. We've got a sole here which is very adaptable to do it. This milling on the sole is going to help a little bit with that sort of turf interaction and get that club working through that turf a little bit more efficiently. So these wedges are sort of a high carbon steel here, so they provide a very nice sort of feel off the club face, even though they aren't fully forged. Now the other really big talking point here, and something that is very noticeable, is the actual club face. Okay, so a very aggressive looking club face here with the grooves. So we've got grooves as you would normally do, but then we've got this sort of X grooves that sit in between each of the standard grooves. And it's a ceramic blast face here, so this is helping to keep the sharpness of the grooves for a longer period of time through play, so obviously a lot more durable. I think sometimes we find with new wedges they spin great when you first get them out of the wrapper, and maybe a month or two down the line you just tend to lose that little bit of grip. So SmithWorks are definitely saying here this is going to help keep that groove shape for a much longer period of time. So we've got the grooves going all the way to that toe section, so we see some of that in other brands there, with in particular sort of Callaway PM grind and also the TaylorMade high toe. But to be honest, I was expecting to see a lot of that high toe section here, but you don't really see that real aggressive shaping. I think it's a lovely shape as you sit down by the golf ball. We do see that slightly thicker top edge there, obviously as we're moving that weight up the club face there, but that doesn't bother me too much in that dress position, because I'm looking more around that sort of leading edge here in terms of a wedge. When I'm looking at a wedge and playing with a wedge, I'm looking more at that leading edge as opposed to that top edge. Now, just before we start hitting some balls, there's going to be two wedges available. There's going to be a non-conforming wedge and then a conforming wedge. These ones I've got here are actually the non-conforming. So basically here what Stuart's his thoughts are, he's just around for the golfer who's playing a little bit more casual golf at the club, and he's really wanting a fun golf club to use, an easy golf club to use, and something that's really going to stop that ball on the green. So the thing that makes it non-conforming are these little X's in between the grooves. So these X's are actually grooves within a groove in a way in the club face, and that's what's making the face too rough to conform with the R&A regulations. But as I say, there is a non-conforming wedge going to be produced. We haven't got that out as yet, but there will be one that will sit alongside it for maybe for the better player who is playing more of those elite events that, you know, obviously conforming regulations clubs are very much more important. So the difference being that is those X's will be laser milled and not actually into the head like they are on these non-conforming. Okay, so like I said, I'm just going to hit a few little pictures here, just some dry ball data from the studio, just on the launch point. So maybe quick look at some spin numbers, and then I'm really going to flick to the golf course here and hit them off some different lies, out the semi-rough, over bunkers, into a proper green, and maybe just show you guys a little bit of how these sort of clubs work and how they sort of react coming into that green. So a little bit of feedback on the looks here, present that down with the ball. It's different, you know, that face is definitely looks rough. It looks very much like it's going to grip this golf ball. A little bit thicker on that top edge, as I say, with that weight moving up there, but nothing that really sort of bothers me. But the shaping of it is lovely. I think it does look really nice. So I've got the 60 degree here. I've got this out 60 yards. So I'm just going to hit some little pitches in here to start off with. That feels lovely. Definitely feel like you're getting a grip of that golf ball there, and that feels really nice off the club face. It doesn't feel like, or should I say, it feels like a forged club. It feels very sort of soft off the face. Okay, definitely get that low fizzy one in there. That's stopping really quick. That's a little bit low in the face, but I think with that CG being higher up the club face, and obviously when we strike below it, that always tends to create a slightly lower launch. Imagine it like the drive. If you strike that ball low in the face with the drive, that launch is always lower, but the spin always increases, doesn't it? The same concept here with the wedge. When moving that weight up that face, CG goes high, you strike below it, it'll launch it a little bit lower, but then pack it with a little bit more spin. And that's sort of what we're seeing here. So these are sort of fizzing in and stopping really quickly. So imagine when you get into that gaming situation, you've got that tight flag there, only 60 yards, it's not fast, you can't generate a lot of speed, because we know speed equals spin, doesn't it? But, you know, if we get that strike there and that control of that strike in relation to that CG, and obviously with what's happening with the club face here as well, we're going to get some real good stop on it. Yeah, it feels lovely off the club face. It really feels like you're getting a grip of that ball. Yeah, and those are stopping really quick there. So really enjoying hitting that. I like the look of it. Bit of a different look, as you would say. Some might look at that and might not like that shape or that face on it. I don't mind that at all. I think that, and growing the more I put that down, the more that sort of grows me. I particularly like that black finish for me personally. I say these are going to be launching sort of January 19, so stay tuned. I'm going to put a link in here. There might be a little bit of a discount deal for you as my viewers, possibly get hold of these clubs. Just maybe need to confirm that. So if that discount deal isn't there at the moment, then stay tuned, come back to this video, as that will be added once we get that confirmed. But let's jump out on the golf course, hit some shots in some different scenarios, and let's see how they perform out on the course. Okay, so we've jumped out onto the golf course here at Morecambe Golf Club, so big thanks to them for allowing us to film on here. We've got the new wedges, the SmithWorks wedges in our hands here. So we're going to make some, I've got to hit some shots from different distances here. I want to film how the ball reacts as it lands into the green. Again, a little bit of feedback from myself. So we're going to start out 110 yards for the first shot to the green here. I've got the 52 degree wedge, which is more like a gap wedge. And we're going to see how maybe that reacts as it comes to that green. Okay, so like I say, there we're about 110 yards. Wind's just slightly into the draft there, but they felt, again, superb off the club face. They are ripping back. So you can appreciate with those full shot or full swing clubs, it's going to be ripping seriously back. And whether that's a good thing or not on those full distance, possibly not. But I think I'm expecting when I get closer around the green, maybe 50 to maybe 80 yards, maybe even inside 50 yards, should be a really good advantage, because as we said before in the video, we can't generate the speed to really get the spin on those short shots, and that's where I think these wedges will really come into their own. Okay, so you can see with them, they were pretty far, especially that one nearly holed out, which was superb. So just going to move myself in a little bit closer here now, probably about 70 yards, pitch some in, maybe use my 50-60 degree here. Again, we're going to get a little bit of footage of how that ball reacts and see how the 56 works in the shorter distance. Okay, so now 40 yards from the green, I've got the lob wedge in my hands, and we're going to see how this now reacts from these shorter distances. Now that is really stunning. That flight is very low, lob wedge comes out really low. We know that CG is higher, we strike below that CG, ball comes out hotter, but also packed with a lot of spin. Those are pulling up pretty sharp for only a 40-yard pitch. Okay, so seeing what it's doing off the fairway from those different distances. What about in the rough? Throw myself in the rough here. I'm only about 20, 30, probably 30 yards from the flag here, going over a bunker, green slightly elevated. This is a tough shot, tricky lie. I've got not a lot of green to work with. Let's see how this 60 degree SmithWorks wedge works from, there's a lot of works going on there by the way, works from out of this rough. It's incredible, absolutely love it. One thing you are definitely going to need if you're going to get some of these wedges is a very good groove cleaner, because trying to get the grass out of all these nuts and crannies is pretty difficult. Okay, so the next question you're probably asking is, how does the ball actually mark up? So let's have a little look. As I say, this is Pro V here, and you can see just some sort of scuffs happening just there, and that was happening more with those, obviously the fuller shots with the gap wedge, not so much with the shorter shots. So it's something you're just going to have to accept here, because they are non-conforming, it's an aggressive face. We're going to get some really grip on this golf ball, so you know, you've got to have a trade-off. If you're going to have some fun, which I definitely have done using these, then you're going to have a trade-off with some scuffing on the golf ball. I mean, that's been hit probably about, well, I don't know, a dozen times there, but on the full shot, so they're not going to last forever. But as I say, it's a trade-off. If you want fun, you're going to have to sacrifice maybe going through a few more balls, but I tell you what, the fun factor massively outweighs the golf ball value. Right, okay guys, so there we go, there's the SmithWorks. I'm just going to play a few more holes while I'm out on this beautiful day, because that sun up there, absolutely stunning. I'll tell you what, I've really enjoyed filming those. That was really good fun, and I totally get now that I've got it out on grass, I've seen how the ball reacts on the green, that very much what Stuart's trying to really get across with this wedge is the fun factor. These are unbelievable. Yes, they're non-conforming, and okay, there is going to be a conforming one out there for maybe the guys who love this wedge and maybe just wants to be conforming, but the non-conforming, tell you what, if you want to have some fun with a wedge, you need to get some of these. These are serious. You know, it's nothing better, is than have a little challenge with the mates out on the golf course, over that bunker, no green to work with, like that one I did there out of the rough. I mean, that was just stopping so quick for such a short shot. It's brilliant. I've had a great time filming this. It takes me back to my younger days when I used to have a Ram Cobalt wedge, which used to literally shred your golf ball. But I tell you what, the fun factor was you know, through the roof. So let me know your thoughts. As I say, there's going to be a promotion for these wedges, so if you're interested in buying these wedges, the promotion is only going to be through my promo code here, which is going to be in the description below. There's a link to the website, so you can jump on there, go and purchase, and there's going to be a special offer price here for you guys to get hold of these wedges. As I say, it's going to be January 2019 when they're launched, maybe a little bit earlier possibly, but the website's going to be up and running. You can go and maybe pre-order, and you know, grab your wedges and tell you what, start enjoying them, because these are really fun. So I'm going to hopefully get a chance to get some conforming ones. Well, they're going to send me some conforming ones, and what I'm going to do is probably just test them against these non-conforming, maybe just see what the difference is. As I say, those little X's on there are going to be laser milled in the conforming version against these, which are sort of actually etched into the head. So hopefully enjoyed the video. Great to get outdoors, test these on actual grass, and I'm absolutely loving the performance of those. As I say, take advantage of that promo if you're interested in these. All the details in the description down below. Thanks very much to Morecambe Golf Club just to let me film out on the golf course, and thanks to the professional Simon Fletcher also for allowing me to do so. And if you enjoyed the video, comment down below, let me know your thoughts on these wedges. I'm expecting a few comments here about these, and hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.